challenge, the pain, the gain, and the potential of doing business in southeastern Nigeria, the Biafran land. ECOSI, growing the economy of the southeast. Think home.
Hello, my esteemed viewers. This is BBI Channel 1. I welcome you again on this week edition, ECOSI, Economy of the Southeast, a program designed to address economic issues in Igbo land and by extension, Biafran land in general. And as usual, I have the village economist, with me, Ndubisi Adenubu. Welcome.
Thank you, Chinedu, as also.
Now, today we are looking into an area that is of great concern, but people don't look at that place. And some people go still say we be killjoy. Please, I want to say it as a disclaimer. Me, I like jollification. I don't be killjoy. But the topic we are discussing today is far more important than some minutes enjoyment, which has put us in a situation we have all found ourselves. Many people in Igbo land are frowning. The economic situation is biting. But we have not looked down to understand what exactly is it. So today we are talking about wastages in Igbo land, reducing economic wastages in Igbo land, and then encouraging investment, productive investment in Igbo land as a way of turning around the skilled economic system in Nigeria against our people to our advantage. My brother, the village economist, do justice to you. What's your perspective about wastages in our economy in Igbo land?
Yeah, thank you once again, and Chinedu, thank you for opportunity like this. And my dear people who have been following me for the past 2 weeks, I know you're expecting to hear from us today. Today, we are discussing what you have already done, but we want to emphatically put it into use to begin to appreciate why things are not working or why things are the way it is. Yes, Chinedu, that a lot of things our people do right now that they do not understand, that they are not building for the future, but they are squandering everything today, that there is no plan for tomorrow, and there is no plan whatsoever for our children. I could remember when I was growing up, my own father would always tell me, Ndubisi, after the Civil War, things are so difficult. Next 5 years, he will say, Ndubisi, things are not getting better, things are getting worse by the day. I've kept on hearing this kind of story, even during my undergraduate days. People around me will be lamenting that things are not working. But when I look around, why some people are enjoying, some are crying, why the central authority that will pull the resources together are not mindful of the other side that are suffering. The central authority in this instance is the government. These are the people that organize resources and pull different classes of people together. They collect from people that have access and give to people that do not have. They moderate. Over the years, I have seen and noticed that this central authority is not working, and that is where they say government failure, that government has failed. Mm-hmm. Now that government has failed, we have acknowledged that. That is not the subject of our discussion today. We are not coming today to talk about
government
failure or the government.
It's obvious.
No, but we are talking about how do we survive the depressed economy we are having today, the economic crisis we are passing through. How do we survive? How we survive? You call me a village economist and accepted it because I think without the box, but outside the box. Sorry, I think not outside the box, but without the box at all.
Yeah.
There is no database for me to think because I don't have logistics. I don't have the database of the people in my village, and people who are not working, and people who are unemployed, even the married and unmarried ladies in my village, people who are productive and people who are not productive. I don't have the statistical data with me. So what I think and what I say here is without the boss. But I'm talking because I have village sense. It is this village sense that I have that I will use to advise you on how to survive this present economic crisis we are passing through. However, you've already noted this thing I'm saying right now, but you are hearing it from this platform, BVI Channel 1, and you have some degree of confidence in what we are doing. Outside that, you're also hearing it from somebody who has village training in economics and also university training in economics, Combine two of them together, I believe we'll have a quality output to give. The key thing I want us to look at is the burial. You know, because I want to speak this in Igbo. Yes, in the Hausa and the Fulani, in the Muslim, sorry, and we had Mana, you could imagine when a former head of state is announced to be dead today, and he's buried today, and everything ends today.
Because generally, except this nation is the Igbo.
Okay, yes, I'm sure you must miss this, yeah. But my papa talks say I Igbo. My papa talks say I Igbo, so that is why I'm missing it. So we've had a head of state like this who was pronounced dead, and the next minute he was buried, and no ceremony, nothing, no wastages. The man was buried, and that is the end of it. We also had a case of our father, Dr. Ikedife, that died last year. Before then, he called both of us, me and Asos Chinedu, and said, I have told my children this thing, but I am saying it before two of you to be my witness. So that if my children should go outside and do another thing, you will bear me witness, because I will come from the spiritual world to strike them.
You said that?
Chinedu, you can bear me witness.
Of course.
Before our people here.
Of course.
So, Ikedife said that, now when he said if you should die tomorrow, I said, but Ikenga, you are not dying now. He said, yes, he's not dying, but one day he will die, because he's living a borrowed life now, that God has blessed him so much. So, the learning point is that, or message from him is that, once he's dead, he's giving his children less than 18 hours, within 24 hours.
Within 24 hours.
Within 24 hours to bury him. That he wouldn't want ceremony, he wouldn't want for anybody to start.
Any fanfare.
Yeah, fanfare, that's the word. He said, we don't want fanfare, you just have to be buried so that you go in peace. But I asked him again, but you do go to other burial where they kill cows, but he said, well, that is for them, because that is what they want. But what he wants is that once he dies, he should be buried. So I think we should learn something there. Some people say it is because Ikenga is a miser, that in
unhappy, not stingy.
Not stingy.
Even
like
stingy to his own.
Not stingy like in the Navy, that he wouldn't want to spend that his money, that he has a lot of money. Why wouldn't he allow his children to spend the money that he has already accumulated over the years? But he said no, he has nothing to do. Okay, look at it. The inconvenience, the stress, the time you donate, coming in-laws, sewing clothes, calling this car, this and that, and at the end of the day, millions will be squandered. Just like that. So it is one thing, this burial. Let us learn from what Ikenga, the legacy of Ikenga, that by so doing, we should be thinking of other productive activities on how to assist people. Ikenga did it. Not that he didn't want to spend money, because I know the day we interviewed the first son, Ikedife Jr., he said that certain amount of money was already marked for paying school fees for people who do not have assistance here and there. Certain amount of money was marked out for widows and what have you. So it's not that he doesn't have the money, but he preferred to spend that money on something that will add value to the society. So burial again, before now we used to do it for 3 days. We did a proposal to our traditional council,
yes,
to reduce it to
a day or 2 days.
But at the end of the day, 2 days was approved, and we will continue with that proposal that it has to be brought to 1 day. I know so many communities around here, like my wife's place at Bureri, they do burial just 1 day. So the message here is that under this depressed economy, the economy is so bad, we consume a lot, we eat a lot. Everything I know is rice, aswani, offensara, offenke. But in my critical situation I now pass through, we have to pass through this line. When we pass through it now, we'll begin to celebrate. So right now is for us to begin to compress and contract and reduce our expenditure level and think more of savings and investment.
Especially now we are going into festive season.
Yes.
People putting their hand in their capital just to celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, no, then after the burial, we have other things like you see people spending their birthday, just birthday like this, they are spending millions of naira. When you are spending that money, think about the next door person who doesn't have food to feed his family. Think about the next door person who doesn't have money to pay for the children's school fees. Think about that young lady that has just secured admission, but she does not, her parents has no money to pay 100 and something thousand naira for her. You have a lot of them in the villages everywhere. Then outside that, I've also had a case in villages where people want to showcase their wealth by coming down home to build 200 million naira worth of houses. My dear, these things are not necessary. If you go to West, we are claiming to know more than these people. I mean the Yorubas. Go to that place and see how people live quality life. And that is why they last up to 90 years, 100 years. But here, because we have to set standard, very high standard for ourselves, because we have to come down to our village to build this building that was 200 million naira for cockroaches and the rats, just to showcase that we have got it. These things are not necessary. Spending 200 million naira in the village is not adding anything. You can't use a house you build
in the village for collateral
to borrow money from the banks. No bank can give you.
It's not economically viable.
It's not viable at all because no bank can fall back on that in case if you are having financial crisis. So you can't sell the house you build in the village. So that is the wisdom of the West, the Yorubas. Of course, you look at the houses, they can buy the most expensive car, but when it comes to housing, they build very organized and very portable house, well furnished and well fortified. So this is another way to survive economic crisis and avoid wastage.
At least you take some of those money and put into more investment. Even profitable investment that can create jobs is very, very okay, because we talked about people that go to school, widows and the rest of them, all those charity work. There are good. Some people are old. Some people will tell you that they have done all that and they still want to enjoy their life the way they want.
No.
But it doesn't stop you. And that what we're saying here is that people need to understand level of the kind of money they spend on things unnecessary just to meet up to the societal standard. Please, I heard they say this is no my standard in Igbo land. The standard we want to set in Igbo land is the effect of your good work to your immediate society, how it adds value to your immediate society, how it helps in putting food on the table of your neighbors, how it helps to create job for people around you, so that these things will reduce crime, it will reduce depression, it will reduce. If you go to the street now, man, you drive in Igbo land, especially in Anambra State, you now understand the level of kind of more frustration. Everybody's angry, everybody's agitated. In fact, nobody can even wait for you to pass 1 second. Everybody, everybody. But yeah, please, can I put you in? That is just what we're saying. That is what, because under this environment, under this condition, what kind of children are we going to breed? Because these are our future. That is the most important thing. Because our own time has come and gone. The children we are going to bring forth within this kind of system. That is just the problem. That is just the actual thing. And I think our people should start listening or looking towards that. And especially those of you in diaspora, you should help matters. Una hype is not this game for our boys down here. Una hype this thing for these guys down here. They felt that their Obodo is bed of rose, whereas you and I know that it's not bed of rose.
You work for your cake.
You work for your any dime you make, you work for it, and you don't pick money on the street. Stop hyping this thing for our boys here. Nothing for Christmas. Nah, they say nah, too much. After January, nah, everybody. You see enough as young boys that are here. Nah, they don't have wow. Or then everybody so. Please, we want to use this time to address, because we've been talking about so many things about economy and all that. We need to address this one now, because very soon, in less than 1 week or 2 weeks, so I'm not killing joy. A what the one who to a good life at least once in a while we come back with jollification. But let us take first the right.
Kuchai, I think the message here is very clear. You know, you invest in people. You know, you
invest in people.
The human infrastructure.
Exactly.
You know, human assets. You know, there are people like this when you see them. You know, I'm still surprised. People, many thousands are there watching Chinedu Azuzu there every now and then talking. They look at him as a very stupid guy. That the guy you should go and look for job. Because he's talking for everybody. He's thinking for public interest. But you know, nobody has considered it worthwhile to invest in human assets. That this guy has a future because he's talking about the people. He's talking about what will help the overall interest of the people. You know, it's because of that mentality of me and my family, because of selfishness, because of we have bastardized and destroyed our trust system. Nobody trusts the other person. When you want to donate yourself in service of your fatherland for public interest, some other people in the Biafra will be thinking, don't mind that boy, he's just setting his game. Oh, look what I said. It's a business. So everybody thinks about business. You understand? So I think that is why this topic is very important. That we have to play down on consumption. Consumption,
consumption pattern is no longer healthy.
It's wastages. You know, we have to play it down and up the productive activities, up the savings and investment. You mustn't. You say, which kind of company will I build? You can build human company. By investing in human being, you have bettered the loss of the society. Exactly. And that is why somebody like Bill Gates, who has made a lot of money, can look around and say he has a foundation that is putting in $700,000 in this foundation just to ensure that humanity will enjoy. Because he's looking at humanity as God. That if you put smiles on the faces of people, the people will be so happy, and God in heaven will also be happy. I had a case like that. One of my customers in university those days, he's in Scotland, you know, he told me that he's building a house in the village worth 150 million naira. And I say, wow, why are you building this kind of a cement? Forget that, you're thinking like an economist. You know, I need to, you know, I will be proud that I've worked hard. I work hard from Monday to Sunday, from January to December, and I've made money. So I said, but is that the best way of showcasing that money you've made? She said, yes, she has done all that. She has sent some people overseas, paid people school fees. She has to, she has to enjoy herself. But I don't think she has done enough, because in a situation right now that there's disconnection, people are disoriented, people are frustrated, people are stranded, that many are not even sure the next day where to get money to
even the next meal
to feed, you know. In a situation like this, you are telling me that you know you don't care. When you come to their village and you are kidnapped, do you blame anybody? You don't blame anybody, because you don't understand what drives that economy of your village.
In fact, you actually reminded me something that is very important. You know, when you're looking at some of these mansions, if you carry better than Igbo, especially in Anambra State, it is competition. Mansion. It's very beautiful. I love it. I love
No.
I love good things. But the point is that when I look at them, I see maximum prison yards. Because you can't imagine when you have a building, your wall more than 12 feet of wall fence.
Can you maintain it?
No, not even maintenance. You lock yourself inside. If you come inside the house, all the windows are burglaries. You are afraid. Even if you are and sometimes I've even seen the case whereby house gets burnt. People outside could not have access into the house because of the fortification. What we are saying this thing is that when you are building those things you are building as a mansion, consider the people outside.
So
that if you have a peaceful environment, you don't need to lock yourself up.
Yes, be simple. Just be casual.
You see,
just bring yourself so low like this. It doesn't pay anybody if you come back to the village and
what are you getting? Make competition.
Intimidating everybody.
No, you are not into competition with anybody.
When we get to that level, many of you outside the country, you know how it is. Like China today, they have built their economy to be competing with the American economy.
Exactly.
In Scotland, they built their economy that feeding is no longer their problem, electricity is no longer their issue, good road is no longer their issue, public schools, quality schools is no longer their issue. So when you're able to meet their basic needs, which is feeding, clothing, and accommodation, then you can now confidently say, yes, you've arrived. But right here, majority of the people, we don't have statistics, but off record and statistically, 90% of our people are poor. Outside that, there was also a statistical representation from Federal Republic of Nigeria that about 43 million Nigerians are mentally diseased, mentally sick.
How will you not be mentally sick with the kind of depression that is happening in Nigeria, with the kind of economy that is happening in Nigeria, the kind of depressive economy, because I like that thing you call depressive economy. When you wake up, you feel like going back to sleep and never wake up again, because the whole thing will just line up in front of you. You don't know where to start from. You know, so but you, in a little way, we have seen that the government has failed, just like we said from the beginning of this program. Yes, the government has failed, but what can we do as individuals to cushion the effect of our immediate environment? Like when I'm market, I don't have money. If you go to my account, I don't know if I have up to 10,000 naira. But I'm already making lists of people that are going to touch their lives this Christmas.
Can you imagine
widows, poor people, and I don't think nobody, all the people that have been saying, Asus, you have done a wonderful job from January to December, God will bless you, we are with you. None of them has included me in their Christmas list.
Oh, yeah.
People that they are going. Please, I want to use the opportunity to tell you, listen, I'm a TM fan boot. For me to, you know, some people think that, you know, when one day, let me tell you this, I have to say it in the public. You know, my mom told me one day, you can see UK, go to acquire certificate, you go out to Nigeria, UK, go out, acquire certificate, they're very smart. Even job, I'm a job anywhere for you. Now will take you to become a lecturer.
Yes.
Why don't you leave these things in there, man? Get guy into lecturing
a
job
paid job.
A paid job full time.
Yeah.
Well, say, listen, if what we are doing here, if you understand the time we are consuming in doing some of these things, you cannot think about any other thing. When you are thinking all the because somebody comes in not the ancestor bomb. Ancestor now because they are do. Malcolm no, to be frank with
yes,
you. No. We just have to say it here because I've kept quiet till December, and I want you to include me in your Christmas budget. Christmas list, because I'm including other people as well. Yes. From what you are giving me, I have some people out there that are going to touch their lives. Okay, so I want it. This Christmas, when you are bringing something, include us to Peters and his team, because we are going to affect other people's life as well. And that is where we are wrapping it up on today's program. Do you have any parting message to give so that we'll wrap up?
Yeah, the parting message is that play down on wastages of investment in human asset. Invest in people to go into political positions. You don't have to wait for people to get there themselves. But invest in them. If you see someone like that, you can begin to invest in him and say, we want to go to the House of Assembly to represent us. It is public that will make it happen. Instead of spending 100 million naira going to club to spend 3 million naira. No, I'm not saying you should not spend money there. But if you are spending 3 million, you can spend 2 million, break 1 million, give Chinedu.
Pay 2.5.
Okay,
you know,
I'm using him as a case study because he's He's the person you see in the church.
Yes,
so I've seen you in this church.
The church of good governance minister.
Yeah, I have to tell the followers as a village economist that this is a very serious game.
Yeah.
That for a better future, for the interest of our children generation, my dear, we have to begin to identify the good ones among us. Encourage them. If you don't encourage them, we don't have future at all. We'll continue to complain from 1970. 2030 complaint will continue. If you think you are training your kids in Oxford, you are training them in best schools in Nigeria, you are wasting your time. Time will come when they move like this, somebody will shut them from behind. That idiots. their father made money for them and my father didn't make money.
And if you
This is 21st century digital age. It will get to that. If you don't now begin to identify
add value to your
people
society.
who you think will think and fight for
that money you are accumulating for your
what do you do with it?
In fact, if you come to the point where if you dress very nice, you become a target.
Of course, have you ever been buried and any money near with you? Ego up and over. More and any near with that 100 million naira worth of house. Have you ever seen it? In any money, well, 28 million naira worth of vehicle and burying him with that. So, my dear people, as a village economist, I think we have to think smart. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is where we're wrapping it up. And for you, our viewers, it has been a wonderful year with you. And I believe we still have 1 or 2 more of this program this year before we call it a good year. You know, this year has been a wonderful year with you guys, and we cannot be here without you. And you cannot be there without us.
And sorry, we also need people to sponsor this ECOSI.
Yeah.
ECOSI is a very powerful program that every companies all over the world, they want to place their advert here. If you watch it, you see a lot of people advertising because they know this is a very interesting program. You can call us on phone and put your advert there so that we will personally and passionately project it to our people, but ensure that that product is available. Made in Igbo land product.
Yes.
Not to made in Ofesi.
Yes, on that we say thank you for very much, and I appreciate you, the village economist. You have been a wonderful brother and a partner, and you out there, we appreciate you. Keep subscribing. Please, if you have not told anyone about BVI Channel 1, please do so. Bring people on this platform. You don't know what you're doing for them. This is just like free education. This is just like a community. We are building a very powerful community that is packed full with knowledge, because here we empower our people with the right knowledge.
That's right.
So that we change our world. This is our world. Biafran land, Igbo land is our world, and it is our responsibility to make it that place where you are running to, that UK, that America, that Dubai you will go to. This is our own, and it is left for us to make it, our paradise. Thank you for watching. Keep subscribing, like I keep saying. Keep sharing. Follow us on our social media platform, and most importantly, download our app on Google Play Store, BVI Channel 1, and you have everything at the tips of your finger. Till I come your way next time, stay blessed, and above all, stay safe. Goodbye.